from a desert base. Truth don't hide, it just waits for a face, for a face. Big footprints in a pine slick path. Bob Lazar files with a government laugh. Court dates lost in a sea of red tape. We ain't 10-4, we just stay awake. True crime tales in a borrowed voice. We speak for the silence, not by choice. Got boots on the dirt and eyes on the skies, digging up stories they hoped would die. Mic, truth, and thunder, we don't back down. With a Bible in the glove box and boots on the ground. Aliens, lies, and backroom deals. We break that silence, 'cause the soul feels real. Military broadcast, midnight run, teaching vets how to speak what the war's done. From trigger pulls to microphone stands, from combat zones to healing hands. Public records, missing names, unsealed files, classified games. We chase what's buried, not what trends, and we pray for light at the truth's deep end. Mic, truth, and thunder, we don't back down. With a Bible in the glove box and boots on the ground. Aliens, lies, and backroom deals. We break that silence, 'cause the soul feels real. Some chase fame, we chase the facts. Some fold quick, we read the tracks. It ain't paranoia if it's always been there, and we ain't scared to lay it bare. Into the storm. We ain't perfect, but we were made for this form.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military Broadcast Radio. I'm Amber.
And I'm Alora.
And thank you for being with us tonight. And Joy just put a really sweet message in the chat. She said, I'll take flowers to Athena Hogan on my next road trip there.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yes.
I'm surprised we've never gone and visited her.
You know, I got to thinking about that the other day.
Yeah.
The next time we go to Lawton, we will definitely do it. I was intending on doing that the last time I went, but I ended up not having enough time.
I get it. We haven't even, well, I haven't even visited your brother and your mother since they've been.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I haven't even been around grandma since before Uncle Phil, since when Uncle Phil died. So,
okay. Well, we're starting out kind of macabre, but, so anyways, I was supposed to be in Atlanta this week, but my trip got canceled because the person I was going with, my friend, had to cancel. So, I'm hanging out at the house now. So I haven't really done anything this week except for some research and going back and forth, learning new things. So
there you go.
What have you been doing this week?
Working. I haven't done that much. Been pretty boring, but you know what? Trying to move on a little bit. I got a new Into the Weeds sweater on. It is a lot better quality than the t-shirts that we were selling at CrimeCon.
Yes.
Unfortunately, our guy had a guy, and it didn't work out that great. But this is pretty cool. This was designed by, who was it designed by?
Somebody I paid for it on Fiverr. So.
Oh, it was Fiverr. Gotcha.
Yeah,
I thought you would reach out to someone you knew personally, but
no.
Yeah, so shout out to the person from Fiverr. If she can look and see who it is, we'll put it
that's mine.
in the comments below, maybe.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's actually pretty high quality.
It is really high quality.
MBR logo on the side of it. And although I know if anyone is interested in getting them, they run very small.
These are both larges.
Yeah, we're both wearing larges. And well, I know I gained weight, but yeah.
They fit like mediums.
Yeah, I'm glad that we can both fit them though, because so
Hosting Bug sent it to her boyfriend.
Well, if anybody does get any Into the Weeds merch, send us over a picture and we'll put you
Yes.
up on our community tab or put you in our video. So anyway, don't feel the need to do so whatsoever. But
Yeah,
if you
no.
want to, the option's out there. And this is actually a really sick design. I am a little embarrassed to wear the other one that we had at CrimeCon. We weren't consulted on that one. It was just kind of made. So.
Well, and you love, or you don't like AI at all. So that's why you're just like.
Very much just like AI, which reminds me, I am working on an intro. I started doing it last week. Forgot about it this week, and then I was cleaning all day today. So yeah, kind of in a rush there to get everything done today. So.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're doing.
Mhm.
So, and I'm working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes, just trying to figure some stuff out. I'm going to have a Sony review of Nuremberg. I went and saw that. Sony Classic Pictures has been kind enough to partner with NBR,
Mhm.
and it takes a lot to get me into a movie theater
Mhm.
because I don't like watching movies. I'm always getting up, moving around, doing stuff. And then I always analyze the movie, like
Mhm.
over analyze everything. And so it's just really hard for me to get into a movie, but I love history. And this was a really good movie.
It was a good one.
Yeah, it was a really good movie.
Yeah, good stuff. You even had to go to a different town.
I did. I had to go about an hour
watch it.
away.
I wouldn't say it was an hour
45
away.
minutes away.
Yeah, about 40 minutes away. She had to drive, and there was only one showing at 11:15 a.m. But I can't remember if you just said it or not. But it was Nuremberg.
Yeah, Nuremberg.
Nuremberg,
Yeah.
which is the movie trailer that we keep playing at the end of all of our videos the last few weeks. So yeah, thank you, Sony, for helping out with MBR, and we hope that we can continue to partner in the future and make some cool things happen.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, is there anything else you want to talk about, or do you want to just get into this?
No, let's get into the book.
We're still not that far, y'all. Still not that far, but that's okay. We're doing our best here. Okay. So, Joy in the chat said, I don't know if you put it up or not, but she said, taking a toke with every Holy Disruptor again. So, yeah. So, if anyone wants to join in on that game, not peer pressuring you into it, but if you want to take a drink, take a toke, take a drink of water every time that
There you go.
you'll stay nice and hydrated.
Yeah.
So anyway, getting into Holy Disruptor by Amy Duggar King. Officially in chapter 2 now on our third
Hey, it's all right. We had to get through the forward.
Oh, yeah. Totally cool. Anyway. Okay. Chapter 2, back when fun was free. I didn't live far from my aunt and uncle's house on Osage Street in Springdale, Arkansas. A valley separated our homes with huge oak trees lining a beautiful walking path.
Hold on, I'm trying to figure out where that is. Sorry.
Well,
so if they lived right across the street, this
is probably the big house. It's probably after, because I think that they upgraded not too late into the series.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Sorry.
So the big house, not really sure where that's at, but hey, if anyone's from Arkansas. Okay. When Uncle Jim Bob and Aunt Michelle's firstborn son, Josh, was 4, he started walking the dirt path between our properties to play with me. I called him Joshy. My aunt would watch him until she couldn't see him anymore, and then she'd call our home phone so Grandma Duggar could watch him the rest of the way. If only they were keeping that close of an eye on him. Always.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas is beautiful. I agree. Mm-hmm. Devil's Den, that's a really nice place. If anyone's ever in the area, I can't remember what town it's in specifically, but
Prairie Grove, I believe.
Prairie Grove,
I believe so.
Well, it's gorgeous. Rest in peace, though, to the father and mother that just had their lives taken there a few months ago. That's insane. And there's only like one way in and out, if I remember correctly. So
yeah, and the trail is still cordoned off. You can't get on the trail. So
like any trail or just that trail?
Just that one. That's the one that we always went on to. So
is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's unfortunate. We went a year or two ago and that was nice.
Yeah.
So anyway. We were so close and loved playing together each day until the sun went down. I loved my hometown. It was the kind of place where downtown festivals brought everyone together, and a trip to the grocery store meant running into the people you knew. Growing up in Springdale in the 1990s meant growing up in the Ozarks. Family farms, cattle, pastures, and winding country roads surrounded by rolling green hills. It had the charm of a small town community, even as big corporations like Tyson, that's where I used to work,
Yeah.
JB Hunt, and Walmart shaped its growth.
Yeah,
I can
I
picture
was-
the Walmart there.
Yeah, I was the file clerk at the Tyson International headquarters.
There you go.
And then my dad, he usually worked for Tyson or another trucking company, and they always had this feud with JB Hunt, and so they would call him JB Crackerheads.
What?
JB Crackerheads is what they called him. Anytime a JB Hunt truck would go by, he's like, "Oh, there's a JB Crackerhead."
Beautiful. I like coming up with creative.
Yes, Tyson plants everywhere, and it smells to high heaven. But the last time I went, it didn't smell. So I don't know what's going on there.
There you go. It's all of the factory lab grown meat.
Yeah, and it's become a huge metropolitan area now. So
It did seem like there was a few things going on last time I was there.
mhm.
So
You're not getting any sound on Facebook. I don't know why. Sorry.
well, I'm assuming that people on YouTube are at least getting the sound because
We know Joy can hear us.
yeah, we know Joy. Sorry, Joy. No, but yeah, so sorry, Dad. Maybe click the mute button. Make sure it's unmuted. No, I'm just playing. Okay. I love my hometown. It was the kind of oh, I already read that whole paragraph. Okay.
Yeah.
In our valley, the muddy patches of dirt were our playground, where Josh and I would craft the finest mud pies, complete with acorn toppings for decoration. We could watch the train come through a huge field. We were always playing tag, setting up stores and using rocks for money, and marking everything up with the sidewalk chalk. In the kitchen, we loved mixing up weird ingredients like ranch, mustard, and grape jelly.
Mm.
I loved going with Grandma to her real estate showings, and sometimes Josh would come along too. On sunny days, we'd race each other down the dirt path, playing chase until we were out of breath. It was pure fun. It was pure fun.
I love my mud pies too, Joy, when I was a kid.
Damn, I just lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I was paying attention anyway. I shouldn't have been. Okay. On sunny days, we'd race each other down the dirt path, playing chase until we were out of breath. It was pure fun, just kids being kids and loving life, staying outside until dinner time. Josh always made me laugh, and we got along great. Our bond was strong, and we loved to tease each other. Actually, you know what? That would have been
That's what I'm
at
saying.
the original house because she was talking about when she was a kid. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Josh was a kid when they lived next door to
Yeah,
the
and it seems like not
church.
too. So they were there
So I
probably.
wonder where Mary lived. I didn't realize
I
she
don't know.
lived that close to the church.
I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Josh always made me laugh and we got along great. Our bond was strong and we loved to tease each other. When we began filming the show, every time I would leave the house, I'd teasingly say, "I love everybody except for Josh." We'd all laugh. I started school a year before Josh, and even then we were inseparable. He was homeschooled, so I could see him almost every day. As I got older, Josh's family began to grow, and it felt like my uncle and aunt were always announcing another pregnancy. Having a new cousin was always exciting, especially because I was an only child, but it sure seemed to happen really often. As years went by, I had a never-ending supply of cousins, and I adored them all. Life got even better when my cousins moved to a home on a big plot of land right across from my school. I attended a Christian private school where most of the students came from picture-perfect families with beautiful homes, white picket fences, and even the occasional basement bowling alley. Ooh. Some of my classmates' families had even
Where
had
did she
private jets.
go? The only
Mhm.
school I know is Shiloh, and that was at the church, and that was right next door to where they used to live. So I don't know. I'm just
don't know.
sorry. I'm just thinking out loud.
Occasional basement bowling alley. That's crazy. I know people with like movie theaters in their house, but bowling alley is okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in that area.
Well, I'll send it my way. No, I'm just playing. Some of my classmates' families even had private jets. I know some people like that too. I grew up modestly with very few extras. We didn't have a lot of money for vacations or special outings, but I was grateful for the trips we got to take to the zoo or an amusement park. My grandma paid for my schooling, making great sacrifices to send me to such prestigious or to such a prestigious place. She wanted to ensure that I had a strong biblical foundation for life. Despite the stark differences between my life and that of my classmates, I didn't have time to compare myself to other kids. I worried instead about when the next brawl between my parents would happen, when the next explosive argument would end with my dad throwing something. My home life was unhealthy and unstable, and I
Yes.
didn't have the bandwidth to think about comparing myself to others. It was hard to sleep well or study for school, and I had trouble paying attention in class because of how intense the tension was at home. While we didn't take luxury vacations, Joshy and I had our own share of adventures. We went to Six Flags in Arlington, Texas, or Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri, and I love all the memories we ever made. I'll never forget the time that our family RV broke down near an old campsite. Instead of heading to our planned destination in Texas, we decided to stay and spend a week there. The place had a rusty old water slide that looked like it might fall apart at any moment, in a river that was perfect for canoeing. I've always loved the outdoors, and I vividly remember sitting in the middle of the canoe while Grandma and Grandpa Duggar struggled to work together paddling, eventually landing us in a swampy area where a water moccasin tried to slither in alongside us. Looking back, those years with my young cousins, my grandma, and the rest of my family were the foundation of my childhood, at least the parts I want to remember. Truth is, I compartmentalized the good and the bad. Later on, there was plenty of bad, but the good times were filled with love, adventure, and a closeness that made even the simplest days feel extraordinary. We didn't watch TV or spend hours glued to other kinds of screens. Instead, we climbed trees, picked apples, played in the dirt, and spent entire days outside. As a young girl, the simple moments taught me that real joy isn't found in material things. It's found in the time we spend with the people who matter most. My grandma was so wise, always weaving life lessons into everyday moments, reminding me that the best things in life aren't things at all. My school was right across the field from my cousin's place, so during recess, my cousins would line up and wave at me from across the way. If I was feeling particularly adventurous and wanted to escape for a little while, I'd squeeze my way through the barbed wire fence and make my
Okay.
way.
Now I understand. She's talking about when she was younger. So she was going to Shiloh, and it was right next door to the school church.
Cool.
Sorry. I was just trying to picture it in my mind.
There you go. Made my way across the pasture while carefully avoiding the cow patties. With all the land my aunt and uncle owned, plus an hour-long recess, hour long, okay, I could go on a little adventure to see my cousins almost every single school day. I loved being an only child. I liked my alone time and enjoy the quiet, but I also loved being at my cousin's house. It always felt like a never-ending party. We made rock soup when it rained, played in the mud. We'd spend hours outside playing hide and seek, carving sticks, and playing games like freeze tag. We stayed outside until we heard Aunt Michelle's whistle, a God-given talent for a small person like my aunt. And it's honestly the loudest whistle I've ever heard, and it got the attention of all of us when we were acres away. As soon as we heard it, we'd race down the back door laughing, which is funny. My grandma, she has a very distinct. I can't do it. I can barely whistle, like in general.
I can't.
That's all I
I'm
can
not
do.
even going to try.
Mm-mm. That's all I can do. Can't do any kind of other tones. But yeah, she'd do this. And she'd call me and my cousin back because, I accidentally did that.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Oh, you're hitting that. That's what it is.
Oopsie daisy. But
yes, there are
yeah.
personal bowling alleys in Springdale. Springdale is actually a very pricey town. Or not pricey town. A lot of rich people live there. Now, the dynamic from this time that she's talking about versus now is completely different. So, like, or at least when I moved back in 99. So, in the early 90s, it was all like a bunch of rich people or a bunch of poor people, pretty much. There was definitely the middle class, but it was glaringly obvious. And then when we moved back, or when I moved back and my husband moved with me to Springdale, Alora was born in Fayetteville in 2000. And the dynamic had switched to almost a completely immigrant community. which was really weird. And so it was just really a huge dynamic shift. And then now it's since become like a huge metropolitan area. It's the fastest growing area in the United States, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just yeah, it's an interesting area, but there's a lot of really rich people there because you've got Tyson and George's and all those people. So
Okay.
sorry.
No, you're good. I'm just like, where are you going with that? Everywhere inside and outside, kids were laughing, playing chess, singing, practicing the piano, and being creative with a huge cardboard box. We didn't need much to have fun. Just one another's company, our imaginations, and the freedom to explore.
Yeah.
Those experiences were filled with so much joy and remain some of the most cherished memories of my childhood. My aunt and uncle's house always smelled of warm, fluffy yeast rolls coming out of the oven. The pantry was like a small grocery store, and my cousins were allowed to eat whatever they liked. We usually chose slices of cheese and uncooked ramen noodles. Aunt Michelle rarely bought potato chips. So ramen noodles were crunchy, just like chips. We all loved them. My cousins also loved to eat pickles any chance they got, plus cold canned vegetables and ravioli right out of the can. Everyone's different. That's okay.
Yeah.
The commercial grade freezer was stocked with hundreds of microwavable burritos. The enormous fridge contained endless gallons of sweet tea. Everything was meticulously organized, and the home's one big family closet was coded by size in a rainbow of colors. All of my cousins got along with no arguments or bad attitudes. The boys didn't tease the girls, and everyone had good days every single day. Uncle Jim Bob seemed happy to provide for his growing family, and he always hugged and kissed my aunt, which made their home feel loving and safe. I admired my aunt and uncle's marriage, the way they truly cared for each other, the little gestures of kindness, the unspoken understanding between them. It was the kind of love that felt calm and steady, something I seldom saw in my own home, but longed to experience for myself. Before the camera crews arrived, and along with the worldwide popularity, my uncle's family had its own ways of doing things and were heavily influenced by the IBLP Institute in Basic Life Principles, a non-denominational fundamentalist Christian organization that teaches how to succeed in life by following strict principles identified and taught by the founder, an American minister named Bill Gothard. IBLP offers seminars for ministry, participates in community outreach, mentors troubled youth, and has an international ministry, along with providing a homeschool curriculum for families like the Duggars who hope to develop character in their children. My cousins all had chores, which they call jurisdictions, with wall charts to keep everyone highly organized and on task, from breaks and schooling to free time and lunch. Schedules were a big part of their lives and meticulously planned, out down to the minute. Ooh. The particular rules of the Duggar household were laminated together with the principles from the IBLP, adorning the walls with definitions of the desired virtues and values. And so now it has like a little list of them. Hi, Cherokee. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
It's good to see you.
It's really good to see you. Okay. Design. How and why God made me. Authority. Our response to God ordained leadership. Responsibility. Cleansing and conscience. Suffering. Surrendering to the hurts inflicted upon me. Ownership. Properly handling material possessions. Freedom. Escaping the bondage of moral impurity. And success. How to fulfill our God-given purpose. A traditional success in the eyes of the world was considered to be of the devil, such as fancy cars, gaudy, oversized jewelry, mansions, and designer clothes. Appearance mattered greatly, however. My boy cousins were allowed to wear only jeans and collared shirts. Their hair always had to be cut short and neatly gelled. My girl cousins wore long dresses with big pilgrim-like collars. Underneath their skirts were pantaloons, something you'd see in the Victorian era. Big white cottony balloon or capri pants that were tapered at the ankle in order to remain extra modest. None of them had a say in how they presented themselves. The girls couldn't cut their hair or even get a trim for the longest time. And after years of begging their dad, He finally let them layer their hair when they were teens, with the option to perm or highlight it if they wanted to. So generous of him. I bought the girls their first hair straightener, but the Duggar rule remained. Your hair is your glory and is considered more feminine and godlier to have long locks. The whole family wore matching or color-coordinated outfits on every outing. I remember that when one of the boys began to show a glimmer of fashion sense with his clothes, wearing bright colors and bow ties, my uncle explained to him that the colors he was choosing to wear, although fun, were not masculine. I wasn't in the room when this conversation took place, but I certainly imagined how it went. And of course, the bright colors quickly disappeared. When my boy cousins became teens, they all had cell phones, but if they viewed something that wasn't up to the high standards of the Duggar rules, as a form of punishment, the offending iPhone would be quickly replaced with an old school flip phone for months at a time. Bill Gothard taught his followers to avoid eye traps, anything that could entice a male to lust. My uncle and aunt came up with a way to protect their children. The word Nike wasn't just a brand of shoe, it became a code. If the family were out in public and the older girls or parents saw something they deemed inappropriate, they'd say Nike, and immediately all heads went down in unison. No one was even allowed to look up until until the all clear was given. I was about 8 years old. Sorry. I was about 8 years old when I first noticed how quickly all the kids obeyed, never stepping out of line. Whoa, I thought, that's impressive and somewhat crazy. This kind of constant vigilance became a way of life for my cousins that was ingrained in them from a very young age. Music of any kind with an offbeat drum was considered ungodly and forbidden. It was dancing, and only hymns and classical music were allowed in the home or vehicles. Even praise and worship music was considered ungodly. Following the lead of Bill Gothard, who teaches that rock music, regardless of lyrical content, is inherently evil, my cousin's family took this to the extreme with batteries removed from musical toys so as not to encourage toddlers and babies to dance. Wow. Most television shows were considered to be of the devil, so things like Saturday morning cartoons and Nick at Night programming were forbidden. And don't even think about suggesting going to a movie in a movie theater. As a young girl, I remember, ooh, that looks good.
Chicken sog and naan.
That looks good as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Okay.
My bad.
I wasn't offered anything, but it's fine.
You can get some in a little bit.
It's okay. Don't even think about suggesting going to a movie in a movie theater. As a young girl, I remember seeing all my cousins. That smells so fucking good. Okay. As a young girl, I remember seeing all my cousins listening to the radio as if we were back in the days of black and white television. It was evident how eager they were to learn more about the world they were sheltered from. On shopping trips to Walmart with my aunt and cousins, we'd pass by televisions that were airing kids' animated movies, and after we left, they asked me questions like, Amy, what happens at the end of that movie? You could sense their deep longing to connect and fit in with the outside world. The idea of Santa Claus was considered satanic.
Sorry.
What happened?
She said, can you delete?
Oh. Well, how far are you? No. The idea of Santa Claus was considered satanic, even in the youngest children. At just 2 years old, referred to him as Satan Claus. Me. They were completely shielded from all Christmas movies. No Elf, The Grinch, A Christmas Story, or even Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
You were just afraid of them.
I was afraid of The Grinch. I liked Elf. I liked A Christmas Story. And I still could really care less about Rudolph. Good song, but I really don't care about the old claymation movies. I should, but anyway. I don't really like Christmas that much, to be honest. Okay. While I agree that Christmas has a deeper meaning and that people can sometimes get carried away, it's hard to imagine never experiencing the magic of Christmas-themed entertainment as a child. A little fun is harmless. Trick-or-treating and harvest festivals were also off limits. Instead, that's some shit you used to pull back in the day. But then you're like, oh, this is dumb. Anyway. Instead, my cousins would decorate for Christmas on Halloween night. They never knew about the Tooth Fairy or the Easter Bunny either. Movies and television shows were strictly regulated too. Anything that showed emotions like anger, annoyance, sadness, confusion, or even silly slapstick humor was banned. My aunt and uncle believed these emotions could lead to bad behaviors, or even an attraction to the opposite sex. Ooh, God forbid. Which was seen as something to be avoided at all costs until their father thought that they were at an appropriate age for marriage. What, like 15? What about
Shielding them from it like that is gonna just make them more curious.
it's gonna make them want it more? Yeah, no shit. I wasn't even allowed to date till I was 16, but that's okay because I didn't go on my first date until like a week before I turned 17, so it's not like anything would have happened anyway. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the appropriate age for marriage. Yeah, did anyone see that clip where Megyn Kelly is like, Jeffrey Epstein wasn't a PDF file. He liked barely legal girls, like 15-year-olds.
That's crazy.
That's insane. Anyway, that's not legal, Megan. Thank you.
No, it is not. Even though, unfortunately, in some states it is. Sorry, sorry, Joy. Hey, Rebrand, good to see you. I've got some really good garlic naan and some chicken sog. So
it smells really good.
It smells really good. So, my bad. I was hungry.
I wasn't hungry.
Aren't you like 23 now and not a bottle or diaper in sight?
I'm 25 and I don't even think I want children, period, let alone right now.
Thank you.
You already had me and Charles by the time you were my age, or did you have Charles when you were 26?
26.
26. Well, I'm a little bit of a late bloomer, and it's going to be so late that it might not ever happen, but that's okay. Need to get Charles a girlfriend so that he can carry on the legacy. There we go, Joy. Yay to the non-breeders. No hate to the breeders. I just yeah, no thanks. Kids are cool. They're just cool when they're like over there, they're not right here. I like holding the occasional baby, but I also get scared. I'm like, oh, I'm going to drop them. I'm going to kill them. And I'm sure every new parent has that thought process. I just, I'm too selfish to have a child right now. So.
No, I didn't make this. It came to me as from the local Indian curry restaurant. And let's see. Oh, Rebrand is braising a top round London broil. I've got spinach stuck in my teeth already.
Hey, it'd be like that.
Sorry.
I keep getting sent pictures right now of a roast that my boyfriend's making, and I'm very jealous. So, and I'm like, damn.
Food all around you.
Yeah, food all around. No, it's okay. I wasn't feeling that good. I had some like grits earlier, and they made me kind of sick. So, okay, I'm gonna hop back to it. That's exactly right, Joy. Do you know how many things I'm procrastinating right now? It's not even funny. So I need to get my stuff together, and then maybe I'll consider still not having a kid. Okay. I get to see my cousin keeps popping out babies, so whenever I see her, I get my fix.
That's right, Cherokee girl.
Me too, dude. I literally just hung up Bratz posters on my door today.
Oh, I thought you said Brad, BRAD,
like Brad Pitt.
Just Brad's posters.
No, Bratz, BRATZ. Like, nope, Bratz. No Brad. Although, never mind. Anyway, I have a lot of weird shit in my room. Y'all should see it for real.
It's funny.
It's really funny. Anyway, which I don't even know where my Danny DeVito.
We got to find that. I miss Danny DeVito in the background.
Yeah, I don't know why you took it out. I think you were like, it doesn't feel right or something like that.
No, I was just redoing stuff.
Well, I used to do this. So he used to be in my room, but now I don't have any room for him in my room at all. But I would decorate him for the season. So now it's kind of Christmas time ish. So I'd put a Christmas hat on him, and I pierced his ears. So I'd put little earrings in his ears and all that fun stuff. So anyway, we're going to have to get him back out because it's a good way to kind of decorate for the season and stuff. So anyway, back to the book that I'm supposed to be reviewing. Cherokee said, after I moved in here, the neighborhood kid said my house looked like an Indian lived here. Whew. Kids say the damnedest things, right? Hence why I don't want one. Okay.
Now, did they mean Native American?
Native American or because that one would.
Because I mean, Cherokee girl, you are Native American, correct? So
I don't think Indian is the proper term anymore.
she said, "Yep."
You have murderabilia, bone, spell, and voodoo books in mine. So I like the
Not me. Mm-mm.
I like the idea of bone, spell, and voodoo books, but I do the murderabilia part makes me raise a question. What do you exactly mean by that? What do you got? Like,
I would like something from Bonnie and Clyde, though.
yeah,
That would be cool. Or Jesse James, somebody like that.
yeah, that'd be cool. I have a bunch of stuff. Let's do a room tour. No, I'm just playing. I started cleaning it today and I didn't finish because I have some. Oh, that hurt. Oh, that really hurt. I should have moved my leg. I actually just slammed it against the desk. That hurt. Stinkbug said blown beauty art.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
That's wild, Joy.
That's very interesting.
That's the guy that hid out in the woods, right?
Is that the dude that Brian Koberger was inspired by?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was. Oh, you worked with him. So did he like give it to you? Is he's still
I'm sure he's in prison or dead.
I want a little bit more context on this, Joy. Because if you just have it because he gave it to you, that's kind of cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But, anyway, who am I to say what's up?
Or did you write him? Oh, executed.
Oh.
Did you write him and get it? Or was it before he was incarcerated? That's interesting.
Because I knew somebody that was a murderer and he gave me something one time.
I have some artwork from a prisoner at Chillicothe, but I never asked what her crime was.
Very interesting.
I'm going to have to
She
figure it
said,
out.
no, I bought it much later. You know what? Since you knew him, I don't find it that weird.
Yeah, that's a lot different.
I sometimes I feel like it can be kind of like a slippery slope, but if you met him, you knew him, you worked with them, I don't think that's really odd. Okay. Let's see. What about Disney films like Cinderella? Off limits. She was defiant and didn't honor her stepmother. The evil stepmother? That's insane. Okay. Also, the fairy godmother was magical and the animals talked. Oh, no. Okay. Once I tried to introduce my cousins to VeggieTales, a cartoon series featuring silly singing vegetables that taught morals and Bible lessons. I thought surely my uncle would approve of the kids seeing it, but I was wrong. Amy, take this sinfulness out of my house. I don't want my children to think vegetables can talk, he said in all seriousness.
What in the ever-loving...
Jim Bob, my beef with you grows exponentially every day.
How do you not like VeggieTales?
I love VeggieTales.
Old VeggieTales.
Old VeggieTales. Still, me too. I'm not even I don't really even identify with Christianity anymore, but I still love VeggieTales. On my 21st birthday, y'all. It was kind of sad, actually. My boyfriend at the time didn't want to hang out with me, and he only texted me like twice that whole day. So I went to worked 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then I got off work. I think I had a singular Mike's Hard Lemonade, and we sat down here in the basement where the TV used to be. And I watched Shrek 2, and then I watched Madame Blueberry.
Yes.
Where's my hairbrush? Yeah.
I sing that every time I go looking for my hairbrush.
Yeah,
every
I love
time.
it. I would bring it down, but I'm too lazy. But I have like a little Larry plush toy.
You're going to have this in my head for
We are
2
the
days now.
grapes of wrath. We do not take a bath. I would love to talk to Phil Vischer. I think he deconstructed. I don't think he's a Christian anymore.
Which one is...
Bob, the one you met.
Okay, yeah, I met Phil Vischer at a conference. It was pretty cool.
The other one was Mike Naraki or something like that. But yeah, I don't think he's a Christian anymore. Or I think he might be like Christian adjacent, but he's not fundamentalist. Buy the electric toothbrush. Hey, I'm sure more people have tried that than are willing to admit. Not me though. But Okay. Never mind. I'm actually not going to say that.
I think, well, the very first one we ever watched was Esther.
Maybe. I don't remember
It
that
was.
far back.
You were like 3 months old.
Oh, yeah. I remember that actually. Yeah. Like,
Shut up.
totally.
I was just saying.
No, I know. I'm just playing. Now that you mention it, gosh.
See what I have to deal with on a daily basis?
It's so much worse than this, too. I'm like incredibly irritating.
No, she's not, but
She's insulting me, but then when I call myself irritating, she's like, no, you're not irritating. You just suck in every way. No. It's okay. Yeah, so moral of the story is I don't want my children to think vegetables can talk. Yep. If your children think that vegetables can talk by a cartoon, then you have a lot more problems going on. Okay.
yeah.
Also, if you take the right substances, maybe vegetables talk. I don't know. You ever see the food thing where they have the giant orgy at the end? You don't know what I'm talking about. Someone knows what I'm talking. Sausage party. Yeah. Anyway. But I think that's because he was like doing drugs or something.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've never seen it.
Okay. So each day.
Sorry, my husband's loud.
No, not Dad.
Holy cow.
Each day, everyone was homeschooled for hours, and the kids were taught to never question authority, but always to respond with yes, ma'am, and yes, sir. My uncle and aunt demanded instant obedience as the correct response to any question or command from an authority figure. No one ever yelled, no one was ever irritated, and nothing but kindness was tolerated. As a girl who loved her cousins and looked up to her Uncle Jim Bob and Aunt Michelle, I didn't think any of this was weird because these laws, rules, definitions, and jurisdictions didn't just suddenly appear one day. The decorative posters bearing the strict rules had always been there, even in the closets and bathrooms. The Duggar family environment was a well-oiled machine designed to instill discipline and order. Everything had place and a purpose, and like little robots, each child knew their role in the family unit. Reinforcing traditional gender roles, the boys were encouraged to pursue work and expected to lead their own families in the future. They were taught leadership skills and prepared to be future heads of households with a strong emphasis on learning trade or profession to become the family provider. Boys were groomed to take on leadership roles in the church and community with an emphasis on authority and responsibility. The young men were not allowed to work for any big corporation or in jobs where there were women present. They were taught that the world is filled with worldly women, including at college, and this would disrupt the calling of God has on your life, so college was to be avoided. Instead, my cousins have worked in a family business setting, started a lawn care business, or worked in the automotive industry. My uncle is the unquestioned leader of the household, and he made all decisions about who his kids could be around, even the work world. I had to carefully watch what I said in their house and didn't even cuss. Words like golly, geez, dumb, gosh, darn it, or crud were off limits.
Euphemisms.
Professor Chester used to piss me off with that shit. And I was like, I would just say them, but you're going to yell at me even more if I say them. Okay. I don't think they're wrong. We all, that's the thing. We all just kind of came up with curse words one day. We all just decided these are words you can't say.
I agree. I think about that a lot.
And it's like, why? And it's like, yeah, like obviously the context of like the way you're saying something, like I'm not saying that means that like every word should be said or anything like that. But like, I feel like I mentioned this the other day. Hope she never finds my channel, but I don't think she would. I think she would have clicked off by now by the inappropriate stuff that I say. But this lady I work with, she started beef with people. Huh?
I was
you're laughing at me.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, yeah, so she like started beefing with somebody in the back, like some grown ass men, because they said the F word. God forbid, before the store was even open, they said the F word, and she went in there and she told them off. And I'm just like, are you kidding me, lady? I was like, grow up. Okay. So anyway, I had to carefully watch what I said in their house and didn't even cuss. I just said that. Saying something with a strong emotion like "I hate tomatoes" was not allowed. All words had to always be as sweet as a honeycomb. Other rules included no eye rolling, no mean looks. I'm already out on that one. My face says it all. And some of y'all have told me, Laura, you look just so angry all the time.
You can't keep it to yourself either. So
No, I can't. I've actually been very well behaved. There's some things that I really want to say sometimes, but I don't. So there you go. Ha. No slamming doors or being aggravated. No teasing each other. No secrets. Then what was happening with Josh? Was that like something you told everyone, or was that a secret? Hey, shucks, gosh or golly.
That happened to you too, or
She said that
wow, that sucks.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I definitely got spanked for saying like, "Oh my God," or hate was a bad word too, I think at one point.
Yeah, we did.
You guys were like really
Sorry.
strict at certain points and then not at all at other points. So like y'all weren't consistent.
Mhm.
No emotions allowed. But I was allowed to have emotions, that's for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't consistent because I never knew how I felt.
I think you just were indoctrinated and you started following whatever thing like
I was
people
just
told you
learning as
to.
I was going,
Yeah.
just like everybody else.
Hey, it's cool. We're good. I turned out. Never mind.
You turned out great.
Depends on who you ask. I live with mommy and daddy at 25. I don't have much going for me, but it's okay. I'm the personality hire at work. The only emotions allowed were ones that honor the Lord, and anger certainly wasn't one of them. Although Jesus had righteous anger, right?
He did.
And I feel like if he were to see half of the churches right now,
Oh, he does.
oh boy. Well, I just you know what I mean.
Yeah,
if he was here today in the flesh. Even with all the rules, it's no wonder why I loved to be at my cousin's house. My own home was vastly different. I had to deal with more than just my parents' fights. I had to deal with my grandpa Duggar too.
Oh, is this where we're getting into it?
Chapter 3. Grandpa Duggar. You know what? Joy, she hasn't said Holy Disruptor in a while, but still feel free to take a toke. I'm gonna take a little step over here. This one's gonna be bad, y'all. Yeah.
Yes, she is Cherokee girl, as far as I know. Yeah.
Yeah, she actually got spotted for the first time in a while recently.
I saw that.
She took a picture. Did she have like ice cream or she had something? She was with her
some kind
sisters.
of like nutritional shake or something like that.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
So, not so fun fact, Anna actually runs a puppy mill now.
Really?
She does backyard dog breeding,
Oof.
and that's how she makes money.
Oof.
Yeah, oof is definitely true. So, a lot of people say, who knows what's true and what's not true?
Mm-hmm.
But what's been widely reported is that allegedly she still visits Josh, but she'll like take her kids to see him, allegedly. And she's a lot more silent, a lot more standoffish, a lot less in love with him than she used to be. But it has been rumored that the Duggars offered to take care of her for the rest of her life as long as she doesn't divorce Josh.
I believe that.
But it's been pretty much confirmed, just about, I would say, that her and the Duggars do not get along. And they kind of try to keep their distance. But she has like, what, 8 kids?
She has that many kids?
Yeah, and she had her last one like right before or right after Josh went into prison.
Oof.
And you know what her name was?
What?
Madison.
No way.
Ashley Madison. Yeah.
No way.
Swear on everything. They do M names where the Duggars do J names, they do M names. So They did Madison. I think it might have been spelled differently. I think it might be with a Y or something. Yes. Yeah. So a lot of people say that she was specifically picked for Josh because her father does prison ministry. Did you not know that?
No.
Yeah, her father does prison ministry, and she grew up helping out with that. And I think she went to some prisons at certain points, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that 100%. But she grew up around that. And not to say that prison ministry is never, a good thing. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Great thing.
But she was kind of raised to believe, hey,
Second
it's fine if
chances.
you go there. But he's gotten more than second chances. He's gotten so many chances. And he's still to this day fighting, saying that he's not guilty of what he's guilty of. So by the time that he gets out of prison, he has a 12-year sentence. I think he's supposed to get out in like 2030 something. If I remember correctly. Part of his deal is he's not allowed to be with kids, obviously. But his daughter isn't going to be 18 yet.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of his kids will be 18 yet. So that means either he lives separately from Anna or Anna goes back to him and does what with her daughter? I don't know.
Yeah, he can't be trusted because he
his
touched his sisters, So
and it's I pray
so there's
to
no
God,
boundaries.
Yeah, I'm not accusing him of anything extra, but I pray to God nothing ever happened to those children.
The only boundaries he seems to have is the boundary of, like, with Amy, he knew she would probably kick his butt and go tell her grandma right away.
Mm-hmm. But it seems like what we're about to get into, maybe her grandma wouldn't have done shit.
Okay, let's get into it.
One more. Okay.
Just so everybody knows, we're streaming on 2 Facebooks, LinkedIn, 2 YouTube.
You can stream on LinkedIn?
Yeah. 2
Who watches on LinkedIn?
Lots of people do. YouTube, 2 YouTube accounts, Twitch and X. I didn't put us on Roku tonight because Roku's been having issues the last few weeks.
That's lame. Okay. Chapter 3, Grandpa Duggar. Grandpa Duggar was a complicated man. His name was Jimmy Lee, although he went by the nickname JL. He was off the wall, unpredictable, reckless, and practically a real-life Kramer from Seinfeld.
Really?
So he screamed the N-word in the Laugh Factory or the Comedy Factory. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Anyway, actually, you know what? That's probably not too far off from something one of the Duggars would do. Okay. Allegedly. Okay. Not trying to make a joke of that. He was the life of the party, the one that could make anyone crack a smile with his antics, such as slurping Jell-O through a straw. JL lived on Mountain Dew and sweet tea. He hated aquariums and would sing as loudly as he wanted to whenever he wanted to. He laughed during serious events and often made a scene. He always had old caramels in his pocket. He wore an Arkansas Razorbacks hat every single day. He was claustrophobic and he couldn't figure out how to go up an escalator. If you're picturing the movie Elf, that is what he looked like. He used old newspapers as toilet paper. Don't ask me how I know that. He had zero etiquette at restaurants and would walk into the kitchen to get his own chips or refill his cup. I still don't know how he got away with that. He once ordered and paid for 200 red plastic cups at a Chinese restaurant and then loaded them into his trunk. Why? No one knows. A classic gag. Gramps would park his car at fast food place and literally walk up to the speaker outside and order. Then, still on foot, he'd act like he was driving an imaginary car and growl loudly, pretending to rev his engine. I did that once at my old McDonald's. Grandpa was not only hilarious, but possibly a little insane. He was loud and boisterous and unfiltered, possessing a special brand of zaniness that made it impossible to ignore. You never knew what he was going to do next. He put ketchup on everything, and I mean everything, including cereal and ice cream.
Oh.
He loved to play chess every single chance he could. and he could sell anything to anyone. At least this was the grandpa I grew up knowing, and these are the memories I kept in my head. But who in the world was Jimmy Lee Duggar really? Because along with the fun and laughter came a much darker side. This is the $1,000,000 question, friends, and let me tell you, the answer is about as clear as mud. Even though he was my own flesh and blood, married to my grandma Mary, and my father to my mom Deanna and her only sibling Jim Bob. Even though Grandpa made all my cousins and me laugh, we learned by the time we were in junior high to be very cautious around him. I'm not sure exactly when it happened or why, but eventually there were certain boundaries put in place by my mom and my grandma. There was a shift in our family where the things that we thought were funny suddenly weren't funny anymore. Gramps had a crazy side and we all knew it, but we didn't fully know yet his darker side. After countless years of speculation and wondering why those safeguards were in place, I uncovered the pieces of the puzzle that began to reveal glimpses of a larger picture. I don't claim to have all the answers to who he really was and what he did, but I have some. After some serious research and talking to folks who knew him back in the day, I began to get answers. The things I found out made me cringe. Secrets no one has known or shared until now. But to tell the whole story, I'll go back to the beginning of JL's life. In his own words, the dusty dirt roads and good old days. Childhood was a traumatic experience for JL. His father battled alcoholism and had a very violent temper, often using his son as a punching bag. Graham's mother, Velma, who would on a whim hop on a bus and leave her 4 kids for weeks at a time to escape her husband's wrath, seemingly not caring about the impact her absence had on her young children. For much of his childhood and young adolescence, JL found himself seeking stability elsewhere. I've been told he used to break into homes when he was younger, commit vandalism, and steal items only to sell them again. He was never caught. He and his siblings found refuge in his grandparents' home, where they were doted on, spoiled rotten, and shielded from responsibility. JL grew accustomed to getting whatever he wanted without facing any consequences. The lack of structure and discipline in his life set the stage for a troubled adulthood. As JL grew up, his reckless spending became a defining trait. He had a particular fondness for purchasing rundown used cars, often without considering the long-term financial consequences. After he married my grandma, his poor choices led to his own family in a cycle of instability, where making ends meet was a constant struggle. The breaking point came when Jimmy was arrested for fraudulent dealings in a car transaction, leading to a 90-day stint behind bars. During Grandpa Duggar's incarceration, he fell into a deep depression, further distancing himself from the responsibilities of family life. With her husband absent, my grandmother was forced to step up in a way that she never expected to. She took charge not only of their home, but also of their financial future. She worked tirelessly at a local yogurt shop, becoming the primary breadwinner of the family. My grandmother's resilience was nothing short of extraordinary, as she balanced caring for 2 children, my mom, Deanna, and my uncle Jim Bob, while managing the day-to-day challenges of her husband's absence. Despite the overwhelming difficulties, Grandma never wavered to her commitment to provide for her family, recognizing the importance of securing a stable future. She dedicated herself to learning and improving her skills. She studied relentlessly and ultimately found success in the world of finance. Through sheer determination, she became a real estate broker and eventually founded her own company, Good Neighbor Realty. Her hard work paid off, and the company thrived. The legacy of her perseverance lives on today as Good Neighbor Realty continues to operate, now run by one of my cousins. Wonder which one. Worse than my grandpa's poor financial choices was his penchant for other women. He was 6'2", blue-eyed charmer who was silly and fun. He was also a serial cheater, and his infidelity was a constant strain on his marriage to my grandma. To this day, I don't know how many affairs he had. One affair was particularly hard on Grandma. It was with a woman who lived just under an hour away and led to a 6-month separation when my mom was only 6 years old. During that time, Gramps never came home to see his 2 children, though he would call him on the phone. When he eventually returned, Grandma forgave him, acting as though nothing had happened. Life continued on. She never spoke of it again, nor did she ever address the deep wounds that he had caused. Despite the pain and the distance between them, my grandparents decided to dive into the hotel business together. They took ownership and management of the Rest Haven and Iris motels in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The motels were basic, one-story white buildings along Highway 71 with the Duggar Realty Company right next door. My mom's great-grandparents' house sat behind the motels. The 5-acre property was farm-like and covered in trees. The family lived in the attached apartment that came with the office, and Grandma took great care in keeping the properties clean and well-maintained. But though the business provided them with a steady stream of cash, the influx of money did little to heal the rift in their marriage. Instead of bringing Grandpa and Grandma closer, the venture only added to the tension between them. They were caught in a constant power struggle, and their fighting was relentless. Their arguments played out in front of my mom and Uncle Jim Bob, creating an atmosphere of instability and unresolved conflict. It was clear that despite the outward appearance of success, their marriage remained deeply fractured, with no real resolution in sight. Grandpa's obsession with used cars never wavered. Even when the family's finances were already stretched thin, he would continue to sell anything he could get his hands on, from household items to cherished pets, just to fuel his latest obsession.
What?
It was as though he didn't know how to be an adult, struggling to manage responsibilities and make choices that would provide stability for his family. Instead, he sold off anything that wasn't nailed down, including my mom's beloved Airedales, Mitzi and Christy. Is that a dog or a cat?
I have no idea.
Airedales, Airedales. Those dogs weren't just their pets, they were a family. But to my grandpa, they were just another means for making a quick buck, with no thought for the heartbreak he caused or the lasting impact of his choices. We often joke that he could sell flip-flops to an Eskimo, a testament to his skills as a salesman. But his knack for getting a deal didn't seem to extend to understanding what truly mattered, his family's well-being.
Their dog and expensive ones.
When things didn't go his way, Grandpa didn't accept it quietly. He made sure everyone knew about it. He had a flair for drama and would throw himself into tantrums, cussing, hollering, and carrying on. My mom often told me stories about growing up in a household where out-of-control behavior was a regular part of their lives. Thank you, Cherokee girl. She witnessed her parents' fights night after night, sometimes stretching into the early morning hours, the arguments escalating like a heavyweight boxing match. Words would fly like punches, and tempers would flare hotter than a southern barbecue. The atmosphere in the house was charged with tension, full of emotional turmoil and unresolved conflicts. The constant fighting created a toxic environment that affected everyone living there, including my mom and uncle. For all the material things they managed to obtain, material success never brought peace or stability. Instead, the Duggar household was a battlefield where love and respect seemed to get lost in the chaos, and where emotional wounds were inflicted just as often as they were ignored. It was clear that what he really couldn't be sold on was the idea of taking responsibility or building a future with integrity. My grandma tried to protect her children in her own way, and she set up a boundary where JL wasn't allowed to be alone with his daughter. She did the best she could. Despite her boundaries and best efforts, JL's relationship with his daughter was particularly fractured and strained. He rarely called her by her real name, instead choosing most often to call her Cow.
Wow.
He knew the nickname hurt her and that it was cruel, deliberate way to strip her of her dignity, leaving her feeling ashamed, unloved, and unworthy. Her father's cruelty didn't stop at name calling. He took pleasure in mocking the scars on her legs, scars that were earned from climbing trees and playing outside to escape the constant yelling and chaos inside the house. Those scars on her legs were reminders of her attempts to find some peace, but they became ammunition for his taunts, and he would make fun of them every chance he got. Jimmy Lee seemed to thrive on tearing people down, constantly poking at their vulnerabilities, and my mom took the brunt of it. Emotionally, Grandpa Duggar was hardly there unless his temper took over. And when he did show up, it wasn't with warmth or care. It was with anger and harsh words that left lasting wounds. He had a habit of making big promises he never intended to keep, family vacations that never happened, and a dream car he swore that he would buy for my mom. Oops, sorry. Okay. My mom often talks about. Oh, sorry, I accidentally lost my place. What did I do? Okay, I found it. I got it.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry, I accidentally skipped.
No, you're fine.
The dream car he'd swore he'd buy for my mom, even the small things like ballet classes she longed for or karate lessons for Uncle Jim Bob. He'd say all the right things, make them believe, and then let it fall apart. Over and over again, his words meant nothing. The disappointment became a pattern that they learned to expect. His emotional neglect and abusive behavior were a constant source of pain and contributed heavily to the dysfunction that plagued our family. To make matters worse, my grandparents subscribed to a harsh and controlling way of raising children. They believed in corporal punishment and used whatever was within arm's reach, whether it was a hairbrush, a belt, a paddle, or a wooden spoon. There was little distinction between the discipline and cruelty, and the line was often crossed. Sorry, I started choking there. I need to take a sip of my drink, but thoughts so far?
Yeah. So, I mean, Mary never let on that she had a bad life or anything like that ever.
But did she ever bring her husband around or talk about
Oh,
him?
no. I never, I remember when I found out that she was married, and I found that out when you were a baby when they started going on TV. And I was like, "Oh, wait, she's married?" And then yeah, and
Little
then,
old church ladies not having their husbands with them is a red flag.
yeah. So, but she was so sweet and kind, and I just, yeah, I didn't know that she went through that. And I'm sorry to hear that her daughter was put through all that.
And it seems Jim Bob as well. It
Yeah.
seems like they probably had a pretty rough childhood. And while, obviously we're not very far into the book, maybe Joy knows. But it seems like Mary was religious, but not religious in the same way that Jim Bob now is. And a lot of times, due to trauma, you can take things to the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you and Dad weren't super extreme. You were more extreme at other times than you were at other, like I said earlier, it wasn't very consistent.
Yeah.
But you had a really scary upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad was an addict.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure a lot of the things you guys did were experimented with. That sounds crazy, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Teachings and ways to raise children. I'm sure a lot of it had to do with just trying to create such a divide between your upbringing
Mm-hmm.
or past life
Mm-hmm.
from, what you were doing then. And
Yeah.
you guys kind of figured it out a little bit more as Charles got older. But then you got sick. So I can't remember. What did I ask? Oh, I said that maybe have a little bit more context.
Rebrand someone that read it.
Oh, I don't know why I thought it was Joy. I thought Joy was saying, oh no, because she was saying something about take a toke, and so I thought that she meant that she had read it too.
Yeah. No,
She was just going on
rebrand someone that read it.
My bad. I'm calling out the wrong person. I just remembered her saying something about taking a toke. But
maybe we'll have you come on next week. Rebrand.
Yeah, rebrand. If you'd like to come on up.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear what your commentary is on it too, because
Yep.
it's getting kind of heavy. So
Mhm.
this is going to be a very interesting rest of the chapter. Okay. Sorry, I started coughing and all that. Every time I start reading this stuff out, I have like my throat closes up and yeah. So shoot. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I thought my dad was an angel, but now I'm not so sure. I don't know.
Well, he was a good father to you for the most part, and choose to remember the good times, and
Yeah, we'll see.
you know, until anything else possibly comes up to change that image, just take it for what it is.
Yep, I am.
So, I love you, Mama.
I love you too.
Okay. Sorry, I feel like I need to. I could not do an audiobook. I'd be like stopping every 5 seconds.
Mhm. Thank you, everybody who's joining us
Mhm.
tonight, because you could be doing something way more exciting than sitting here with us fumbling through all this and watching me eat earlier. I
Hey,
normally don't do that either.
was
so.
it good?
Oh, yeah, really good. Chicken sog and garlic naan. I think Dad also ordered lamb kebabs and tiki masala, maybe, or butter
Okay, so
chicken.
then
I'm
there's
not
probably
sure.
something that's left.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have great parents.
Yes.
We've had our ups and downs, but I have good parents that care about me, and I'm 25 and I live in their house and they're letting that fly. So you know what? I can't complain about a single darn thing.
Yeah, right. Because if she does, I'll put her in check.
She'll kick my ass out.
Sure will.
I'll be out on the street. It won't be hard for me to find somewhere to go. It just doesn't mean that
I'm not
it
going
would
to
be a
make you
good
get
idea.
out on the street. I'll send you to Grandma and Grandpa's.
Yeah, they'd give me like a curfew, and I don't even go out or anything, but they would make it. I love Grandma and Grandpa though; they're good too. They're good people too.
Yep.
But I don't want to live. Never mind.
Why don't you come over here a little more? Because you're.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay. These chairs make it. Oh, there goes your food. These chairs make it kind of hard for us to get in a good position, or else I'm kicking my mom all the way off the carpet almost.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Okay. He'd say all the right things, make them believe, then let it fall apart. Over and over again, his words meant nothing. The disappointment became a pattern they learned to expect. His emotional neglect and abusive behavior were a constant source of pain and contributed heavily to the dysfunction that plagued our family. To make matters worse, my grandparents subscribed to the harsh, controlling way of raising children. They believed in corporal punishment and used whatever was in arm's reach, whether it was a hairbrush, a bat, a belt, a paddle, or a wooden spoon. There was little distinction between discipline and cruelty. The line was often crossed. These physical punishments were meant to instill fear, but what they truly instilled was a deep sense of shame and broken relationship between parent and child. Despite the chaos my grandpa stirred up, my grandma did love my mom in her own way. She threw herself into supporting my mom's dreams, chauffeuring her to piano and voice lessons. My mom continued to win pageants and singing competitions. Somewhere along the way, her parents developed an unrealistic expectation that my mom was destined for stardom. No matter the cost, no matter the turmoil, they were determined to make it happen.
Interesting. I would have never figured that.
Don't help me bake cinnamon rolls in the kitchen, Grandma would say. Go work on your singing. They were sure that she would be a big star. While they were busy chasing their own dreams of being stage parents, they failed to see the wreckage that they were causing at home. My mom's potential stardom became the lens through which they viewed their lives. This picture-perfect idea of success, while the foundation around them was slowly crumbling. Sound familiar? My mom often talks about her brother Jim Bob and how he was reserved, withdrawn, and shy growing up. He never sought the spotlight and always tried to stay out of the way, content to keep a low profile. He was a good kid, an extremely kind and loving brother. Deanna and Jim Bob were very close, sharing a stacked bunk bed until their teen years when they finally had their own bedrooms. My mom, the protective sister, would watch over him during the turbulent times when their parents fought. In those moments, they'd either huddle together for comfort or run outside to escape the chaos. Through it all, my grandma did her best to create a sense of normalcy and give her children a good childhood, even though the circumstances were far from ideal. But a shadow far worse than her dad's cruelty loomed over my mom as she got older, when she realized why she was never allowed to be alone with her own father.
You want to keep going, or do you want to?
What time is it? Oh, we still have plenty of time. We're
Yeah.
not on our 2-hour mark yet. Yeah, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's weird that Mary wanted to be a stage mom. That's
From what she was talking about earlier, it seemed like even though Amy, at least initially, who knows what the situation is now, didn't want to be on camera,
yeah,
but
and
she was pulling her to come on camera. And it seems like when things didn't work out with Deanna being a star,
she
Jim
pulled
Bob
Amy
did.
in, and then she pulled Amy in.
So, something that I'm thinking of though,
Huh.
is I understand that divorce is taboo and it's a whole thing, especially if you're in a religious community. But it seems like she wasn't that religious. And also, especially if your husband is doing the things that he allegedly did, and it's not like he was bringing in the money. It sounds like he was selling off their shit,
Mhm.
including their dogs. Why would you stay with him?
Yeah,
I understand
know.
sometimes people don't feel loved. They stay in shitty relationships that aren't meant for them. I've done it, you know what I mean? But not when they're doing stuff like that.
No. I mean, I couldn't imagine being with somebody like that.
And to my knowledge, I've never been cheated on. One person might have, not really sure, don't really care though.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But you know, if you know about it, and I get it, some people can work their shit out. It's not my business.
Mhm.
But if it's a continuous thing, and then on top of him cheating on you, you have to tell your daughter that she's not allowed to be alone with her own father.
That's weird. Yeah.
So I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but Josh had to learn that behavior somewhere, I feel like. And maybe he didn't. But I don't know. It's all looking suspicious to me. You have a religious question, Cherokee?
Why are polygamous men only allowed to have multiple wives? Well, because
But women can't have
Yeah.
because the patriarchy and men are.
I'm sorry, stink bug.
I'm so sorry about that, stink bug. I hope that you can choose the path that is best for you, but just know that no matter what, don't let yourself be walked all over and that you are worthy of love.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely, rebrand. That would be great. But as far as the polygamy thing, yeah, men are in so many cultures, in most cultures, 99% of cultures.
Yeah.
Men are the kings, they're the head of the household, they're this, they're that, and the other. And, there's some ways where it's not always, a terrible, terrible reign of, power imbalance, whatever. But, yeah, I mean, I don't really even know what to say other than just men almost always are made excuses for, and it's thought of as the natural thing for men to want multiple women. But also that's what Joseph Smith taught.
Mhm.
And, the main LDS doesn't follow that anymore. But if they were true to the text, that's what he teaches. So they're just following. Yeah. No kidding. But yeah, I'm not saying all men suck, but a lot of them do. Thought they all started out as females.
I have no idea. I don't remember.
I could be wrong. I don't know science very much. I'm a little I'm a little obtuse, but that's fine. So anyway, we're gonna get into this last chapter, and I think this is gonna be the last one of the night. If you want to hold down for it for 2 seconds, I kind of have to piss.
Okay, that was so ladylike.
Y'all, poll in chat. Has Alora ever come across as ladylike? No, I'm just myself, and it is what it is. So be right back.
Fetuses freak me out, man.
Oh, rebrand. You said something about the DoorDash girl. Okay, so I have conflicting opinions on that. I can't remember what you were saying exactly about her, but she should not have recorded the man and posted it online. However, a lot of people that are creepy and predatory towards women, men, whoever, they will do certain things with plausible deniability. There's no reason why he should have been naked asleep on his couch when he knew that the DoorDasher was coming with, you know what I mean? I don't know. So I think they're both kind of in the wrong, but at the same time, like I said, plausible deniability.
She says, who? I have no idea. And I haven't watched anything on the DoorDash girl. I know something happened with the DoorDash girl, but
she basically took a video of some guy that was laying on his couch. His door was like cracked open or something, and she pushed it open. She went inside and took a video of him on his couch, but he was naked and asleep or something like that. And like, yeah, it's messed up that she did that, but also it's like freaking weird that he would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plausible deniability. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I know you did a live on it. I think I popped in, but I wasn't paying attention. So I'm really bad about information coming in, but it not grabbing a hold and staying in there. So that's why I pick and choose things I actually pay attention to, because otherwise I'll get lost. Crossing the line sounds like leave it on the doormat. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's wild. That's really weird. And yeah, like I said, I haven't followed that at all, but this this book, I know it's gonna get darker here in a minute. And like I have a whole new idea of who Mrs. Duggar was. Definitely. You know, I just kind of saw her as this really put together middle age, 50 years old, probably. I don't know how old she was in 95, but very put together with nice clothes, makeup, high heels, always there to help and to teach and to just be a good example. So that's what I've always just seen her as. So this is interesting, getting a sneak peek into somebody in my life's actual life. I mean, that doesn't happen very often when somebody that you actually know has a book written about them, and you get a sneak peek into what was really going on behind the facade. So
allegedly, one of my teachers wrote a book and said something about me. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's just what I was told by a couple people.
mm-hmm.
Yikes. He was a... So, anyway, Jim Bob learned and taught his sons, if not to be predators, his daughters, suck it up and take it. Yeah, women, again, I'm not accusing Jim Bob of anything other than covering up for something. Mm-hmm. Now, whether that's because he was predatory in nature himself, or just because he watched his mother cover up for his father for his entire life. Women were always at fault. They're the people that make you stumble.
I really hope Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers are found. Those are some really hard cases. I haven't followed the Sebastian Rogers case very much. I do know a lot more about the Summer Wells case. And then Casey Anthony. Yeah, Alora has that.
Cherokee girl, maybe I'll tell you in private one day, but I have a very strong connection to Casey Anthony, unfortunately. I will not be sharing that on the internet though, but I'll tell you in person in private if you promise not to share. So anyway. But yeah, I can't even imagine her living in my town. Like now,
Yeah.
yeah, she sucks. She sucks. And then she dates like a bunch of cops and stuff like that.
So, Joy, there were quite a few people in that area named Jim Bob. Yeah.
That's such a I can't. It's like such
And it wasn't like hillbilly people either. It was
No.
like people with money.
No offense if you're watching this and your name is Jim Bob, but like that's such an unsexy name. Like imagine like I can't say anything. I've had some boyfriends with some really unsexy names, but they're not
I'll
names you want
look
to
for
scream
her
out.
and Carrie Bell money.
Girl,
Well, make sure somebody else has the Bell money because, you know.
she can bail herself out if she has the money.
Well, I guess you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I had to bail one of my friends out one time, so I don't know.
Probably because they
Actually,
didn't have any
twice.
money.
They had bail bondsmen.
Not what I'm saying.
don't know.
Anyway, it's okay. Anyway, but yeah, if you ever see her, I heard that she got like a drink thrown on her once, but for the most part, she's just like completely getting away with all of it. And like I said, I know some shit that the public doesn't know. And that's all I'm going to say, but she can go and burn. So,
Yeah, it's just a bad deal all
Mhm.
around. I remember when we were looking for, or actually went to the college for the first time,
Mhm.
they were looking for Kaylee.
Same.
Hmm
Yeah. I probably shouldn't say anymore, but
Yeah, no,
I know
no.
somebody who was involved in the trial. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
Okay, so let's go to the next chapter. How the hell are her and GRB out? It is nuts. I mean, Casey Anthony
Well-
didn't even spend any time in prison.
The Casey Anthony thing was what they messed up on is they charged her too harshly. They were seeking the death penalty. And trust me, I get it. Casey Anthony, I would not be mad to see her in an electric chair. And I have mixed feelings about the death penalty, but she's someone I wouldn't cry about it. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But and I'm not an advocate of anyone. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But they tried to charge her with the death penalty or give her the death penalty. And the way they set up some of their arguments were kind of a little so-so. And Jose Baez, as big of a piece of crap as he is, and I'm telling you, it's way worse than you guys think it is. Way worse. But he did a good job making her look like a timid, innocent little girl. Pretty much. She was what, like 22, 23 whenever the trial went on. And they had her in that like ugly pink button-up shirt, and they try to make things look a certain way. And all of the jurors think that she's guilty. They just didn't think that based off of the evidence and the way that the court system worked that she deserved to be put to death. Also, a lot of the evidence didn't even come out fully until after she had already been exonerated. And on top of that, you can't always admit all of the evidence into court. Like a lot of times, like especially for like the Lori Daybell case, right? A lot of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes that we all know about, or at least people that were paying attention, it wasn't admitted into court. You know, when she got charged with I think, was it her brother's death or her ex-husband's death that she ended up getting convicted of like somewhat recently? I think it was Charles Vallow. But anyway, they didn't even say that anything happened to JJ and Tylee. Like the jurors were like, well, why aren't they here? You know, on the stand. So it's like, I don't know. On court TV. Oh, my bad. On court TV was actually court TV. Yeah. And yes, I get that. As much as I would love to see Casey Anthony in jail and OJ Simpson should have been in jail and Gypsy should still be in jail, I think double jeopardy is still a very important thing to protect because the government isn't always trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
Prosecutors suck a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I really have to say about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's
So
it's
it's
a
like
broken system all the way around.
So it's like, even though I don't like Gypsy, she served the time that the judge decided that she needed to serve. And as much as I don't agree with the way that things played out, she cannot go back and be charged with other things. It's just not going to happen. It's just not. And Nick is where he needs to be. And I feel empathy towards Nick. But I'm not saying anyone in the chat is this way, but a lot of the people that are so defensive over him, he's where he needs to be, unfortunately. And it's just a really shitty situation all around.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's a really bad situation all the way around. But unless Gypsy commits another crime, it is what it is. It's a done deal. And I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
But if I were to support the idea of double jeopardy not being a thing, then that could lead to a lot of other problems in other people's lives. So it's kind of like,
yeah, Cherokee, she tried before with the BB gun and all that. And there's probably something else, because Nick does say that there's another time that she attempted that he's never going to talk about or
so
whatever.
unless something very definitive with a lot of proof comes out, nothing's going to happen. And again, I'm not saying
the state of Missouri does not want her here anyway.
The state of Missouri does not care. There is a current thing that I'm looking into right now that is very close to home, where a man was murdered by an off-duty corrections officer. And I've been talking to his friends.
I messaged his dad, but I haven't heard from him yet.
Yeah, that's a lot. But talked to his friend. I told her no rush. I told her I would get her a coffee if she wanted it, but she did. But they're saying, even though it was in a crowded shopping center with like 7, 8, 9, 10 businesses, that there was no camera footage of it happening.
That's wild. When she came home and told me that, I'm like, no, we need to know more about what's going on here. What was his name?
I guess I'll just say it, but then it kind of...
You've already given enough.
It is
context.
What it is. So his name was Eric Spencer. And there's hardly any information available. So we're going to try and look into some documents and stuff. See if we can find anything. We obviously don't want to do any kind of crazy amount of advocacy without talking to his parents first. And they need time to heal. And even his friend that I was talking to needs time to heal.
Yeah. No, I just reached out because I wasn't sure if they needed our assistance, or anything, pushing the story so that they can.
I would love to talk about it. I would like to get a little bit more information on it first.
Yeah. But it's good to bring attention to it for people to know what's going on.
It's Eric with a K, Erik Spencer. And I think the person who shot him was named Spencer or something. And allegedly he's not even in prison or jail or whatever.
Yeah, no, he's
allegedly he's just walking free. So
they're waiting to see if they're going to press charges or not.
Which I doubt they will. So yeah, Cherokee Girl, you said you haven't heard of that one yet. You're not going to? You're not
Probably
going to.
Not, no.
I saw a TikTok about it. One TikTok. And it just organically came up on my For You page. But yeah, we should talk to. There's somebody that I feel like maybe we could talk to about it. He was a graduate of his the college he goes to.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know if he knows anything about it, but I think they might have had like a. Anyway, so.
Okay.
Very sad. If anyone's interested in looking into that, please do. But again, I don't know what the full situation is, but it's scary. So anyway,
Yeah.
Want to get into this last chapter and then call it a night?
Yep.
Okay, so I just wanted to get through all the Grandpa Duggar stuff in one go. So
Mhm.
sorry we kind of ranted about some other stuff, but the Eric Spencer thing really is tragic and only happened a couple weeks ago. So a CEO said Jipper will be back in 2 years. Well, we're almost at the 2-year mark, and I wouldn't be surprised if she with Gypsy. I could see her committing another crime. I don't know if that crime is the same crime that she committed with her mother.
Yes, I will.
Yes. But I don't know if she's going to be committing the same crime that she did with her mother. But I project that if she does commit another crime, no matter what it is, it's probably going to be after public interest kind of wanes. And it's already kind of starting to get there. But I think it would be more so out of desperation for attention than anything. So
Or theft because she can't help it.
You know,
In my
again, I don't
opinion.
know. Cherokee Girl said her art is a crime of its own. I mean,
hey, everybody's got their own tastes in art. Because I've seen some weird art, and that's by far not the weirdest.
You know, I think drip art can be cool, or blown art or whatever can be cool. But I think it's cooler if you like put something on top of it. If that's like the background and then you have like something going on top of it. But she definitely just took the easy route there.
Yeah.
Not trying to be shady there, but I don't know. I'm no artist. But you know who is? 1980 Millennial Commentates, and she made a beautiful painting that's in my room.
Yeah, and this one right here too.
Oh, yes. And
Kawana Parker.
Sorry, it's hard to do this. But yeah, Kawana Parker. So
yeah, so Gypsy's going on that cruise, or I guess she's going on a cruise. She's going to Alaska, and I guess you got to go through Canada, and as a felon, she can't do that.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
I mean, like Amy Winehouse wasn't even allowed to come into our country, you know, so
I love Amy Winehouse. That shit breaks my heart. Also, screw Neil Patrick Harris.
Why?
What?
Why are you going after Doogie Howser?
Let me pull this shit up and then you'll tell me. Neil Patrick Harris. Actually, should I put it? Let's put it up on the screen so I don't have to show. No. You guys are going to see why Neil Patrick Harris can eat my butt from behind.
Laura.
Okay. No, seriously, you don't understand. This is bad.
You just clicked us out of there.
Did I?
Yes. Move out of the way.
It's not on another tab?
Hold on.
It's on the other tab.
Okay.
Sorry, how do I put that on the other screen?
Yes, just a moment.
Sorry. My bad. I'll show you guys why Neil Patrick Harris sucks. Neil.
Sorry about her vulgar word.
No, I'm not sorry. Amy Winehouse. After you see this, you're going to agree. Oh, why is no? Screw the Microsoft Bing. I don't know why that's up. Cake.
Did they scrub the internet?
Oh no.
Is that it?
Yeah. This was a couple months after she died.
No way.
I swear on my life. Yes. Okay.
Don't say that.
Well, it's true. Okay. Share screen. There we go. This is a cake that he put up at his house at a party right after Amy Winehouse died.
Okay.
That's supposed to be Amy Winehouse. So, just so you know.
That's awful.
Well, I'll take that screen down so you don't have to look at it, but
thank you.
I had to tell y'all. And now do you agree that he can kiss my booty? Anyway. So, that's really unfortunate. So anyway, we're going to get into this last chapter real quick because I'm a chronic yapper and I get on a tangent. And yes, Joy, that is real.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, oh, is that real?
Oh, it's real. It's real. So anyway, what was it, like 2010, 2011 when she passed away?
Yeah. I have no idea.
I love Amy Winehouse. I actually have, I printed out a picture of her to put up on my wall. but then it like turned out super grainy, so I never put it up. But she's gonna get a picture on my wall sometime soon. I have a bunch of random people on my wall. I have like a little Anna Nicole Smith. Yeah, anyway, I got a lot of stuff.
Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown. Screw Tyler Perry, though. Okay. Chapter 4, Grandpa's Shadow. Mom never really thought much about why she wasn't allowed to be alone with her dad. It had always been the norm, so she never questioned it. But when my mom was in her early 20s, she finally understood. One evening, while Grandma was in the back of the house, JL was lying down in his bedroom. He suddenly called out for his daughter, his voice demanding. As she approached his bedroom, her heart began to race with a mixture of apprehension and uncertainty. She knew something was off. When she opened the door, she was met with a request no daughter should ever hear from her father. In a serious tone, JL said, "Deanna, I want some special time with my daughter." His words dripped with an unsettling intensity. My bad. "Why don't you come lie down with me?" To this day, my mom can still remember his lustful eyes. Her dad patting the bedsheets as he spoke. The evilest thing of all was his sickening smile. My mom's instincts kicked into overdrive, and without a second thought, she slammed the door shut and fled from the room. The incident was never discussed. From that point on, my mom knew that there was a much deeper, uglier, and sadistic side to her father. She never took a shower if he was home, and she locked her bedroom door at night. It was an awful way to live. She liked to invite friends over to swim in the pool, but eventually she stopped inviting them because JL would try to flirt with them and chase them around the pool. About 5 years ago, a customer came into my store and told me a shocking story. A neighbor of Grandma's told her that when this woman was a teen, Grandpa would grope her at the pool, pull down her bathing suit bottoms when no one else was around, and would have his way with her. My grandma brushed off the story and told the neighbor that she was lying and just wanted attention. And that was the last time that event was discussed. Throughout the years, several women came forward with similar stories of how my grandfather flirted with them and forced himself on them. Church women's tongues were wagging with the many rumors of JL's infidelity in and around our small town. My grandma brushed off the comments every time. The truth is that, as I mentioned previously, JL Duggar was not a faithful husband, and sometimes he wouldn't come home for days at a time. Though my grandma was quick to dismiss any story about him, the evidence against him was clear. I've heard from several trustworthy people who knew him that he slept with multiple, and I mean multiple, women. As typically happens in the Duggar family, despite these unfortunate events, life marched on. My mom was under the oppressive thumb of her father and yearned for independence. She was 20 and desperate for a place to call her own, where she could finally escape the suffocating grip of her father. She set her sights on getting her own apartment, determined to break free from the toxic cycle that ensnared her for far too long. However, just when she thought she was on the brink of freedom, her parents swooped in with their own brand of persuasion. With arguments laced with warnings, they painted a picture of doom and gloom, convincing her that leaving the nest without a wedding ring was not the godly thing to do.
Oof.
If she chose to leave, she would suffer both worldly and eternal consequences. Fear became their weapon of choice as they whispered lies and doubts into her ears. They made her believe that disaster would surely strike as she dared to venture out on her own, away from the supposed safety of her parents' guidance. She felt completely trapped. Even though she wanted so badly to leave, fear held her back. Their codependency was too strong to resist, so she stayed with her parents, afraid and uncertain, feeling as though to escape was just out of reach. In the fall of 1980, my mom went to John Brown University with the goal of singing in a select music group called Joy Song. She auditioned, beat out 49 other girls, and won a coveted full tuition scholarship. Although she loved the social aspect of college, the academic life wasn't for her, so she left college after a year and a half to pursue her dreams in the music industry. The day she returned home from college, she walked into the living room and found her dad yelling violently at her mom. Although this was the type of behavior my mom had always known, something felt very different this time. JL apparently was under severe financial distress, and the tension in the air felt heavy. He seemed dangerous. But because Grandma seemed to be handling him in her normal feisty way, my mom brushed it off, assuming that it was just another argument that would eventually fade. She quickly left the living room without saying a word to her parents and went to her bedroom, hoping to escape the weight of it all, and began unpacking. But her father followed my mother, storming into her bedroom. With a leather belt in his hand and the most haunting, crazed look in his eyes, he grabbed her by the legs, held her down on the bed, and began beating her, every hit harder than the last. She fought to break free, but he overpowered her. He was 6'2", and although slim, he was very strong. This brutal torture lasted for more than an hour. She screamed at the top of her lungs for help, begging him to stop, but the lashes continued, and she began to bleed. When my mom was black and blue and beaten to a bloody pulp, eventually the torture stopped, and Jaya left the room, too worn out to keep going. My mom knew that getting out of the house was of the utmost importance. She worried that at any moment her father would come back to finish what he had started. That night, she saw her opportunity. She very quietly opened the window, hoisted herself up, and wriggled out of it. Then started running as fast as she possibly could, running toward help, relief, and freedom. My mom made it to a neighbor's house down the road. Fortunately, they were home and able to treat her wounds. They urged her to call the police and report this abuse from her father, but fear held her back. She was terrified of what he might do if she reported him, afraid he'd come after her with even more rage and maybe even try to kill her if she dared expose the truth.
Wow.
One thing that has always stood out to me when my mom tells a story is that throughout the entire horrifying event, the one thing that hurt worse than the beating and every rage-fueled lash from her dad was that when she was screaming for help, crying, pleading for him to stop, begging for her life, her mother never came to help.
Wow.
Never came to her rescue, never came to save her, never spoke of it or acknowledged it.
Wow. Wow.
Another incident took place later when my mom was young, 21-year-old, and in love for the first time. She went to tell her parents, as most people do, that she had met someone special, the man who would later become my dad. She was scared to tell my grandparents she wanted to move in with him, knowing they believed that living with a significant other without first getting married was a huge sin. But beating your child, cheating on your wife, and hurting little girls is not. Got it. Okay. Love this Duggar train of thought.
Holier than thou. Hypocritical.
You know what? Grandpa Duggar's looking up at us right now.
I would agree with that.
Okay. When she did tell them, her worst fears were realized. JL went ballistic again. He grabbed her by the throat, carried her from the kitchen to his bed, and jumped on top of her.
Oh, wow.
He wrapped his head around her neck, lay on top of her so she was unable to move, and then started strangling her.
Oh, wow.
She gasped for air, unable to scream or yell. Grandpa shouted at her, "I'm going to kill you, Deanna." He almost succeeded in murdering my mother.
Wow.
Right when all hope seemed lost, Grandma called Jim Bob in a panic. Thank God you did something one time in your fucking life. Okay.
Right.
He walked into the bedroom and saw what was happening. "Dad, what are you doing? Get off my sister." This pulled JL out of his fit of rage, and he let go of my mom. Jim Bob might have not known it at the time, but he saved her life that day. And just like the time when JL beat my mom with a belt, my grandma was in the house, never lifting a finger to help her, never saving her, never rushing to her rescue, and never speaking of it again.
That's wild. Imagine, yeah.
Not even asking if you're fucking okay.
Yeah. That's wild. Disappointing.
You would think that after yet another traumatic experience like that, my mom would never want to go back to her parents' house again. However, narcissistic people know how to use fear to control their victims. My grandpa knew how to manage his words. He apologized and manipulated his way back into my mom's life and convinced her not to press charges. Again, even after my grandma told my mom not to get carried away, telling her how bad it would look for my grandpa because of his previous time served for fraud. My grandparents successfully convinced my mom that things would be different going forward and that it was in her best interest to continue to live there. The physical abuse did stop, but the bickering and name calling never did. He still called her cow and never showed my mom even an ounce of respect.
Wow.
Well, I didn't know any of these stories when I was young. As I look back, I recall understanding the unspoken, non-negotiable rule that seemed to hang in the air like a heavy fog. Never be alone with your grandpa. It was as clear as day. Grandpa couldn't be trusted. I knew to obey that rule, innately understanding that breaking the rule would have very bad consequences. When my grandparents came to live with my mom and me because of my dad's violent threats became too scary for my mom to handle on her own, I was given clear rules. Grandpa Duggar could never take me to school, never join me in the backyard for a game of catch, and absolutely never be allowed to come into my room. My grandma checked every single night to make sure I had locked my bedroom door before going to bed. If you hear Grandpa in the middle of the night, do not hang out with him, she said.
Yeah.
But you still lived with him.
Yeah, no, that's a hard pass for me.
She's a piece of shit, or she was a piece of shit. And I'm glad that you never got in contact with her, even though you tried.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that. That just she
No.
sucks. That sucks.
No,
That's evil.
unfortunately, yeah. No, there's no way I would have kept my child or grandchild in a predicament to where they had to lock their door like that.
I mean, I'll talk about that off air. People give Anna a lot of shit. And who knows what really goes on in her house, but this seems way worse than, I don't know.
What do you mean?
Like, obviously we don't know what goes on in the house. We don't know if Josh ever did anything to his children.
Mm-hmm.
They got interviewed, or actually, maybe they weren't even able to be interviewed because I think they might have had it to where they weren't. I don't know.
I have no idea.
But I'm just saying, Mary doing that and being willfully ignoring things and not even ever checking up on her daughter to make sure, are you okay?
Yeah, no, it's terrible. I'm sorely, sadly disappointed, and that's why you don't put people on pedestals. That's why you don't worship people.
Yeah, from what I hear, it sounds like he made her get out of her freaking mom's house right after she passed away, too.
Yeah.
Treating her wounds when she's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine.
I'm disgusted.
Yeah.
This is worse than even what I was hearing excerpts of from the other day.
It really is. Joy says she hates everyone equally. Yeah. And Steambug.
Yeah.
My heart hurts. Yeah.
Mine too. That really sucks. And I think that JL lived with all the kids at the end of his life. Like,
he did.
He went and lived in the big house at the end of his life.
Good gravy. How are you supposed to keep all those kids away from him? I mean,
he was in a wheelchair. So it's fine. He's not going to do anything. He's still going to look at them. And God knows what happened if they're sitting in his lap or something. Like the kids all used to sit in Josh's lap.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
When my grandparents came to live with my mom and me because my dad's violent threats became too scary for my mom to handle on her own, I was given clear rules. Grandpa Duggar could never take me to school. Oh, sorry. I'm rereading something.
Sorry.
Maybe I'm not. Maybe she just repeats herself. I think she's repeating herself.
It's all right. Just go
Okay.
wherever you think you're at.
If you hear your grandpa in the middle of the night, do not hang out with him, she said. I couldn't sit with him on the couch and watch a movie. I couldn't be alone with him in a car, and I couldn't practice my cheerleading routines in the living room or wear a bathing suit to sunbathe outside. I couldn't even play Barbies in front of him because my grandma didn't want me to risk him showing them her naked bodies. Above all, I could not, under any circumstances, set foot into his bedroom or take a bath or shower unless my grandma was home.
Wow.
I wasn't allowed to have friends hang out, and sleepovers were strictly off limits. When I was in my teens, I wondered why Grandpa spent so many days in bed. He reminded me of the grandpa in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and I speculated that he might have an underlying illness or was just lazy, because sometimes I wouldn't see him for days at a time. It all seemed so strange at the time, but I accepted the rule without question simply because that's how things were. In hindsight, I'm astounded by how unaware I was. Just like my mom's experience in her childhood, I repeatedly heard so much yelling and fighting coming from my grandparents' bedroom that would keep me up at night. I heard Grandpa call Grandma every name in the book. I witnessed several physical fights between them. I once saw my grandpa slap my grandma in the face on a road trip. And then my grandma punched him hard in the face and tried to grab the steering wheel from him, all while I was sitting quietly in the back seat. But you didn't punch him in the face whenever he was beating the life out of your daughter. And you had to call Jim Bob to come and keep him from literally killing her.
Yeah.
What would have happened if that would have happened? They would often try to control my mom, causing her to fight back, and shouting would echo through every room. Phones were hurled against walls, TV remotes shattered, and doors slammed. I would hear my mom crying all the time, which broke my heart. I'd lock my bedroom door, turn up the volume on my music, and try to drown it all out. I remember shaking in my bed when I was little and thinking, one day it won't be like this. Although my mom did her best to try and protect me from all the chaos, she couldn't keep me safe all the time. Many days, Grandpa left me with painful welts from random times he would hit my legs with switches torn from maple trees in front of our front yard. The blows hurt, and I didn't understand what I did to deserve the pain. I would cry, but he would show no mercy. Crying is for the weak, he would say. One time, I was home in the middle of the day, playing outside by myself. The ball I was playing with rolled into the street. The wind carried it farther and farther down the road. My only thought was to catch it before it had gone too far, so I ran down the street after it. Just then, my grandpa turned onto our street and must have seen me. I heard the engine of his maroon Ford Mustang coming up close behind me. My stomach clenched as I realized he was coming up way too fast. I turned my head just in time to see him barreling towards me. As I ran, the thought hit me. This man is a lunatic. I ran down the street, zigzagging to get away from him, and finally took a hard right into my neighbor's bushes. I stayed out until dinner time, too afraid to go anywhere near him. His actions had always been unpredictable and oftentimes abusive, but never before had I been scared for my life the way that I was that day. Grandpa Duggar often left me feeling desperately confused and hurt. But I didn't cry. I grew up believing that crying was a sign of weakness. Something to be ashamed of. Exactly like he taught me to believe. To shed tears felt like exposing a vulnerability I wasn't supposed to show. I didn't want anyone to see me as fragile or incapable. I wanted to be the strong one, someone who could handle anything that came my way. Admitting to pain, fear, or heartache felt like admitting defeat, so I held it all in, bottling it all up. Grandpa could also be kind in ways that left me feeling conflicted. He'd compliment me unexpectedly, making me feel seen in those fleeting moments, or go out of his way to thaw my car's windows on a bitter winter morning. It was as if he thought these small acts of kindness could make up for the intense, volatile behavior. At the time, I thought this kind of fear brought about by emotional and physical abuse happened to all kids. I didn't realize that children should feel safe, cherished, and nurtured at all times. I didn't realize that the abuse I was experiencing was anything but normal. It wasn't until much later in life that the reasons that those strict restrictions with Grandpa began to truly make sense.
So she says that, but at the same time, she had the experience at her cousin's where at one point she didn't even know, that she just thought it was all sweet and innocent stuff, right? I don't know. That's awful. That's terrible. I'm greatly horrified that they went through that. I can't imagine. Now, I was raised around more like drug addicts, and like my uncle beat the heck out of me with the assistance of my grandma, even though my grandma was at her house and my uncle was at our house watching me. But it's
Not okay.
no, it's not okay. It's not okay. And to learn that Mary didn't do anything and then didn't even bring it back up or help her clean her wounds or anything like that. I mean, my dad beat the ever living crap out of my uncle and pressed charges, and he went to jail.
I didn't
So,
realize that. Thank God your dad did that.
yeah, my dad was out in the middle of Ferris beating the crap out of him.
Good. Good.
So, yeah,
He
yeah.
deserved to get his ass beat.
Oh, yeah, he did. He definitely did. So,
But his life has sucked since, so
yeah, yeah. Well,
that's
his
karma.
life sucked before then too. So
his life has always sucked. Karma.
yeah.
But no, that still sucks.
Yeah, no. So I mean, we've all been through a lot.
And you made me sit on his lap one time. I said I didn't want to. And you're
I
like,
don't
it's
even
just him.
remember.
It's
Yeah.
no big deal.
I'm obviously we all make mistakes as parents. And I probably wasn't thinking through anything. When you're with family, you kind of forget things and you kind of roll with it. Yeah. So, but he never like touched me or anything like that. Just beat the ever living crap out of me.
Yeah.
So
There's something else I'll bring off camera. But
yeah,
I love you.
I love you too. But no. So that is a disturbing way to end the book, but
Or
we're here or not
the
in
live stream.
not
The book's still got a few more chapters, I think.
Yeah. That's a disturbing couple of chapters, and I'm bummed out now. Dang.
My heart goes out to Amy and to Deanna and to
Jim Bob, even though,
well, you can be
a victim and a perpetrator at the same time.
dang straight there.
Yep.
So
nobody's a perfect victim. Nobody's
And I pray that the only things that ever happened in that family were the things we know about, but unfortunately my gut tells me it's not. So
yeah, well, I mean,
one way or the other.
Well, in every family, there's always going to be those secrets that will never come out, so you can only imagine what those are,
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Yeah, and just to know that I looked at Mary as this sweet, all put together person that, donated her time and energy to the kids at church and
the bus kids that were ostracized from the rest of the church.
Yeah, well, she went to that church,
I know.
and that's just how the ministry was set up, and she was a volunteer, so we needed somebody, and she was a really great role model from what I saw. So obviously not in real life, but dang, it sucks. It sucks. It really does.
If there's one thing I can give her is I'm glad that she didn't let people sleep over and that she told them to lock their doors and that she wasn't procuring people for him. But
well,
that's not.
She had an ample opportunity to procure me for him if she was doing something like that.
No, I don't think she did. I was just saying I'm glad she didn't do that, but we're
because
talking about I'm not giving her breadcrumbs of
no, I'm just saying,
yeah.
When you were reading that, I was thinking, I wonder how rare it was for me to be in her van, and then for her to take me into their home like that, for her to do that.
You went into her home?
No, into Jim Bob and Michelle's home.
Just the one time though?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just the one time, but I was in her van quite a few times. So I wonder how rare that is, if I was, a one-off or if she did that a lot. I don't know. I never saw her do it with anybody else, but I mean, I was only with her for 5 years.
Only 5 years. That's a long time when you're a kid.
Yeah, and I think she may have even been my teacher before that too, but I only cognitively remember her.
How long did you live with your dad?
So my parents split up when I was 8, and I would go back and forth from my mom and dad's house. So like I would live with my mom during the school year, then go to my dad's in Springdale during the summer and holidays. And then once I got into 5th grade, I lived with my dad in the 5th and 6th grade and half of 7th grade. And then then I went to go live with my mom 7th and 8th grade. And then 9th grade, I lived with my dad. And then 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, I lived with my mom. So I was back and forth.
You and dad were married.
Yeah. So I was back and forth, and I had, the secret lives of Sunday school teachers, and I'm a Sunday school teacher too. So it's like, yeah.
No kidding. I have my suspicions about plenty of people I've gone to church with, and I'm like,
Yeah, well, I've been in the thick of ministry for quite a long time, and it's very interesting to find out about people.
It's like, you don't have to be perfect, but don't enable abuse.
No, you do not have to be perfect, but definitely don't enable abuse. And sometimes you just need to get out of toxic, crazy situations that are harmful and abusive. And, sometimes you just need to start over. Sometimes you just need to run.
Couldn't be living with some man that she wasn't married to, but when she was 6, or maybe when she was a baby and they said 6 months, whatever, I heard 6 somewhere, he could live with a woman that he wasn't married to while he was married to somebody else. Got it. Rules for thee, not for me. Also, like we said earlier, men can get away with
and he didn't even go to church. He didn't even go to church, as far as I know. I never saw
There's
him.
lots of people that don't go to church. It's still like,
no. I'm just saying that's what their whole stick is.
Yeah, but that's why, like, Jim Bob's like, my father was a sinful man because he got in trouble for fraud. The fraud was the least problematic thing that he got in trouble for. I was just talking about the other day. I was like, I wish that one of my old classmates would get in trouble for tax evasion or something, because every time someone that I went to high school with gets arrested, it's for something like pedo related. And someone that I know just got arrested for, she was a teacher at our old high school. She became a teacher, and she had a relationship with a student, and she just got arrested for it. So I hope she's having a great time behind bars.
Yep. Yeah.
Would have never expected it from her either. But
yeah, people surprise you all the time.
Yeah, and just a couple months ago, somebody got arrested for CSAM, and
so
his wife still has his last name on Facebook. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of really sad situations, and to learn that Miss Duggar, or Mrs. Duggar was
enabling it.
Yeah, essentially enabling it
or ignoring it.
But
ignoring is enabling.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah. So
honest truth, ignoring is enabling.
So anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to us rant and rave and read the book.
Yes,
fairly.
Thank you.
So we appreciate every person that's here.
Yeah, and thank you, Cherokee Girl, for all of your generous donations for memberships. So we need to start making some actual membership content.
Yeah, I gave you guys a few more emojis the other day, or stickers, or whatever the heck they're called. and I need to do some more stuff. But yes, thank you everyone. We appreciate every single one of you. Stinkbug Aswin will be back probably next Saturday unless we decide to do something randomly.
Yeah, and people ask me all the time randomly to go on their shows and stuff like that. So you never know where you'll find me.
If you have notifications on, then you'll see. And normally she'll post on her community tab if she's going to be elsewhere.
Fancy.
Joy, thank you very much. I put it up on the screen, but I don't think it'll actually show the.
No,
it doesn't. Anyway, so yeah, thank you everyone. Again. So
yes, thank you.
See you soon,
and
hopefully.
and we hope that you have a great evening, or if you're on the replay crew, wherever, whenever you're listening to this, please go out and do something great to change the world for the better. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.